All right, so you should be able to see my screen. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Thank you for joining us today for our Manager's People's Development meeting. Today is Thursday, February 2nd, and let's go ahead and get started with the agenda. We have some objectives that we will be reviewing together, and we will also be going through some group announcements. We'll follow up with some people development series, some overviews to make sure that everyone is aware of some of the series that are ongoing. And finally, we'll get to our topic of the day, which is pathway programs within SFDPH. All right, and I am admitting folks into the room, so thank you for bearing with me. We do have some objectives for today. We hope to communicate and invite all staff to upcoming events within PhD, identify and describe existing pathway programs. Also, we will have a panelist group today that will share their experiences within some of our existing pathway programs. And finally, we will brainstorm ideas on how PhD, SFDPH can implement transparent and equitable pathway programs as we move forward through the year. All right. And again, let me just go ahead and make sure folks are being allowed in. Okay. I believe everybody's been in here. So we'll go ahead and get started with some group announcements. And I'd like to give a moment to recognize that we are celebrating this month, Black History Month. And with that said, we have plenty of events that are going on through the city as well as within our division. So in the PhD calendar, you should see an invite for February 24th for our internal PhD celebration. We also have links that were shared within our newsletters and also our DPHHR newsletters. One of the PhD activities that we'll be presenting is recognizing our Black staff and honoring them through a yearbook. So the survey link is available within the email, and I actually will be dropping some of these links as well into the chat. Let's see. I'll be dropping the links as we go, because I also want to make sure that we're on time to make sure we have time for our panelists. And all of these links will be available as well. I will be sharing this deck and making sure that all of these links are shareable to everyone that is currently on, and also those who will be watching the recorded presentation. Additionally, we have the PhD Hiring Task Force recording available from January 27th. This is going to be a continuous monthly town hall. So there is an email that is available for you all if you have any questions, which is a phd.hiring@sfdph.org, and also a link. Priscilla Chu is online. Thank you so much, Priscilla. If you can drop those links available for folks in the chat. There is also a link for anonymous questions, and I know that there has been a commitment to providing answers to those questions within our monthly town halls. Lastly, I want to make a plug for the employee engagement survey that is coming out soon, March 1st. So folks will be receiving an email directly with a link, and more information is to come as well. Anyone else have any group announcements that they'd like to make now, and any of their links that they'd like to drop in the chat, please feel free to do so. And I see some links being dropped in the chat, so thank you. If anyone wants to unmute themselves, please feel free to do so. Just want to make sure that I'm allowing everyone in. Great. Got a few more folks joining in, so I just want to go ahead and repeat welcome, and also let you know that this meeting is being recorded. Great. And I'd like to make a quick plug for our PhD walking group. So our next walking group will be February 14th from 12 to 12:30. And we're looking forward to taking a trip to the library, which is close by to 25 Van Ness, which is where we're meeting. We have a lot of information in regards to some programs that we can apply for. So if you're looking to get a library card, it's free. And we can take a walk over together to make sure you can receive your library card. And additionally, if you're interested in starting a walking group within your office space, please feel free to reach out to myself or Priscilla, and we'd be happy to get you all started. Great, and so this is just a snapshot within the next 2 months. We kicked off our Healing and Wellness series last month, and we're excited to now launch our Microsoft series on the 9th. And so there is a registration link available. This is open to all staff. It'll be from 1 to 2, and we're really encouraging you all to invite your staff to join. It will be remote, so accessibility will be available to all. The 16th of February, we're having our anti-racism in the workplace meeting, and this will be in partnership with Gavin Morrow Hall from the Office of Health Equity. We're really looking forward to establishing a safe space. So if we will be in person, this is an in-person event, so please do register. We will be dropping that event into the PhD calendar with a link, and that'll be in room 610 at 25 Van Ness. The following week, we'll have another Healing and Wellness series where we will be working with a community member and we'll be sharing their bios and we'll be working with staff. So all staff are invited as well. And we'll be making drums. We'll be discovering and discussing healing through music and sound, and then also hands-on activities. So welcoming all staff to join us for those upcoming events. And in March, we have more series on a weekly basis. We'll have our manager series where we will follow up with Maricé Rodriguez from the managers from operations. We had a discussion around onboarding, and we heard your request to do a training specifically on the new DocuSign process. And so we are excited to be able to film that and also to provide you space for some questions, as I know that that is a new process. Following by our Microsoft series, we'll get started with Excel, and that will also be remote. There is a registration link at the PhD calendar. On the 16th, we'll have our ACE program, which is Access to City Employment. Come and learn about that program. We have heard that it is underutilized, and we would love to spread the word about what the program means and also who is available to qualify to apply to all of the open positions that are currently under the ACE program. The 23rd of March, we'll have our Healing with Movement. So come move your bodies with us. We'll have one of our colleagues that will be leading a movement with Tai Chi. This will also be in room 610 at 25 NS. And we're really looking forward to that. The 30th, we have an extra week of the month. So we went ahead and scheduled a Go Further with Microsoft Excel. We'll be diving deeper into pivot tables. And again, these are all open to all staff. This will be remote, so please register, and we look forward to seeing you there. Before I move on, I just want to make sure that we are looking at the chat. Looks like some of the events and links have been dropped in there. And if there are any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat as well. And I'd be happy to follow back up as soon as we are through.
Adriana, just one point. I mean, so just again, this is an amazing number of activities, and just to highlight that these activities will also be highlighted in the PhD newsletter, so that people have, so all of your staffs have the opportunity to see those and take advantage and register for them. And then the Outlook invitations have been sent, so folks can register. So just again, thank you for sharing all of these in this forum, and then people can promote them across their branches.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Great, so now we are getting to our topic at hand. So we have been learning about the different variety of pathway programs within our organization, SFDPH. So when we're talking about pathway programs today, we're really looking at both internal and external pathway programs that are for a variety of members, including staff, community members, high school students, undergraduate students. We also have graduate level students and potential future partnerships with PhD students. So these tables here do show some of our existing pathway programs. If there is any program, and again, this is another reason why we wanted to talk about the pathway programs today. If there's any program that maybe we're missing, please feel free to let me know. If there's programs that you may not be aware of, we do have a panel starting shortly that will be talking about their program and also their experience within this time frame. But I want to give a few minutes for you all to take a look at this table. And please feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself to let me know if there's any programs that are within your branch or that you are aware of within our organization that we can include into our table.
Adriana, just a comment. I mean, again, I thank you for this table is fantastic, and it just speaks to the wide array of opportunities for people to be engaged. But just maybe briefly to summarize, and I thank you for also including here, acknowledging which of these positions are paid versus not paid, and this is our current state. So, for example, in the community members, the Dream Keepers Initiative, and I believe Director Veronica Shepard from the Office of Anti-Racism and Equity can speak to this as well if there are questions. The opportunities for all, which we'll be hearing more about in Radar's training fellowship. And then from high school, we'll hear shortly from Faces for the Future, and I'm glad they've been able to join us, as well as the Radar Training Fellowship, and then a number of programs for the undergraduate and community college level that are described here, as well as for graduate students and PhD. So thank you for summarizing this and then distinguishing what are paid versus unpaid.
Thank you for that, definitely. And I actually would like to just take a moment to add these slides into the chat, because I do want it to be as interactive as possible if you want to add any programs. So let me go ahead and just do that. And I did see your hand, Christy. You want to go ahead and unmute yourself while I do that.
Oh, thanks. I was just trying to understand that table. Is that if DPH has established it? I'm just thinking of, like, for example, the community health worker program and healthcare interpreter programs at City College. So several programs in the CHEP branch, including mine, have had partnerships with those departments and had student interns for a long time.
Oh, that's great.
So should I just put that in the chat?
Yeah, let me go ahead and add the link to the slides. This is also why we wanted to make sure we had this conversation, because there may be other programs that are currently existing. We are talking about our organizational available programs, but I do think it's important to make sure that we're aware of the other additional programs that are currently ongoing, so that we know what types of opportunities exist within each branch. So give me one moment.
And while you do that, Adriana, Christy, it's great that you're bringing that up, because that's also an excellent pathway, given that there are 9910s and 9924 classifications, where we're hoping some of the CHWs who go through those programs will maybe serve as a path of entry into the division. So thanks for highlighting that.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I think Matt also had a comment. Matt, maybe you want to come off mute you mentioned Civic Spark. Do you want to say a word about that?
Yeah, I think I'm confused on what was being asked as the question. It's just a state program that places post-grad students or post-undergrad students with agencies working on climate change. So I don't think it's a pathway program, like it doesn't lead directly to a DPH pathway, but it's an opportunity for young folks to enter the workforce.
Yeah, I think we do want to capture those as well, because is that a paid position through the state?
Yeah, it's paid. It's more similar to like Teach for America or something, but it's run by the state and it's for climate. So they have a water program, a climate justice program, a mobility program.
Great. And who does it target, Matt? What level? Are they students or are they a different what is their current?
Minimum of a 2-year AA degree from a college or university. So it's I think they're not current students. I think it's people who have recently graduated from either a community college or a 4-year.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And as we progress through our conversations, I would keep this table being more internal within SFDPH. We will have a moment to include some further alternatives and options that are available, because I do think that they're important, as Jonathan was stating, and we can include those into our mural board. So it'll be an interactive tool where you can also include some of these additional programs, and then possibly specify on that if they're paid, if they're state funded, if they're, within a local organization. That would also be really helpful. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, Jonathan, for monitoring the chat for me.
Yeah, no problem. And Veronica had a great point here, and which basically is asking if they're paid positions, what is the salary level, especially for students who come from economically oppressed populations? And I think that's an incredibly important point that what we'll try to do is we're kind of pulling these data together, looking both internally and externally within PhD, is trying to understand what those payment levels are, because I think equity is a critical part of this conversation about how we're reimbursing students, scholars, folks who are coming from the community for their time and working with us.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Veronica, for that. As we were looking at some of these existing programs, for example, the San Francisco Fellows Program, it ranges in terms of the population that they're looking for, the salary or the hourly pay. Some of these roles may not have pay. And again, this is the reason we wanted to bring this conversation, so we can move forward and look at what's available, and then also make sure that we're keeping an equity lens as we progress through the conversation. Thank you so much. Again, let me go ahead and introduce our next speaker. This is going to be a moment for us to explore some of these particular programs that are currently existing. We have Veronica Sanchez Madrigal on the line, and she will be giving us about a 3-minute introduction to Faces of the Future and telling us a little bit more about the program.
Hi, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm actually going to pass it on to Sarah, who's our program coordinator, and she's our main contact if you want to learn more about our programming and how you could get involved. So Sarah Murphy, can you please jump in?
Sarah, we can't hear you, unfortunately. I think
Sarah, you're muted. Let's try.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry about that, you guys. I know we're on the time limit here. So Sarah, thanks for trying. So real quick, Faces for the Future is a program that works with high school students. We currently work with in partnership with SFUSD to access John O'Connell High School and Philip and Sala Burton High School. We currently have 2 running programs. We initially established our first program in 2015. We work with SFDPH and providing students work-based learning, various exposures to careers in healthcare in both non-clinical and clinical settings. We established this pre-pandemic, and once the pandemic came, these internship programs went into hiatus, understandably, and we're trying to reestablish this program again, this part of the program of our model. As you can see, there are 4 core components where we do work with high school students around academic achievements, preparing them for post-secondary, talking about the various pathways in healthcare. We also work with them on youth leadership development, that's peer health education, wellness support. We talk about any psychosocial stressors. We talk about emotional activations to prepare them mentally, physically, emotionally to succeed in life in general. With that said, our primary focus and reason we're here is because we are talking about the health careers exposure. We are reestablishing these internship placements for fall of 2023, and we're looking for new and welcoming back hosting sites to welcome our high school students in the field. We have access to students on Wednesdays where they could go out into the field during the school day from 9 to 12:30. With this experience, students are able to learn about your careers, see firsthand what you're doing in the field, and also be able to engage and support any work that you're doing within your department. We could talk about that if you're interested about how it looks on a day-to-day basis. With that said, we do offer 3 different rotations throughout the academic year. It is a credit-bearing program, so we may not offer stipends to students. They are earning credit for their education in class. We do have 3 rotations. They're 7 weeks. Traditionally, they're 7 weeks each. It's about 21 to 28 hours total of dedication for our preceptor sites. And we do prepare our students to be eligible to go out in the field. That includes training workshops, that includes health clearances. In addition to that, we support our hosting sites and welcoming students. We do have like an orientation, what are the expectations and role. In addition to that, to kind of establishing what those day-to-day experiences look like. So with that said, we are asking and proposing out there, if you're interested in engaging with our students and talking about your careers, talking about your story and your pathway, this is a great way to engage with high school students. We have other ways that you could engage as well, which is guest presentations, field trips, supporting the senior capstone projects. But we wanted to highlight this as we're starting to plan out next academic year. And this is an early start to do this. And this is, if you're interested, we can continue that discussion. So you can reach out to myself and Sarah Murphy Cook, who is also on the line. That's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. And please, everyone, if they have any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat as well.
Great. There was one question actually Veronica was asking in terms of the racial and ethnic diversity of the students who participate in Faces for the Future. And just a quick plug, I would say we've worked with Faces for the Future for many years, and students, high school students, have really appreciated the opportunities they've had within Population Health Division. So we're really excited to continue this, especially as we're emerging from the pandemic. So thanks. Veronica, do you want to speak to that in terms of the diversity of the students?
So we do work with underserved communities. One is in the Mission District, which is John O'Connell High School. We do see maybe about 80% Latinx students there, about 10% African American. Pacific Islander is a little smaller at John O'Connell, but we do see a different demographic at Philip and Soliburton High School as well. That's where I would kind of pinpoint the demographics about Philip to Sarah. She has the most up to date, but it's pretty diverse, and we are continually working with the schools to increase that diversity as well.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now moving forward, we also have some of our internal staff that will present, and I'll go ahead and get us started with Priscilla Chu, who is currently within PhD operations. Priscilla is the manager for health accreditation, staff engagement and internal communications, as well as performance improvement initiatives. And the program she will be talking about today is the Office of Student Placement.
Thanks, Adriana. So yeah, as part of my work, I ask our division if they have different opportunities for internships. And I have also taken on interns myself. So one of my larger projects is public health accreditation. So I had 10 students over last summer. I had 15 students working on accreditation last semester, and I have another 6 students working with me this semester. It's been really great to have interns really tackle a very large project. that they can share the work and figure out how to project plan and things like that. The Office of Student Placement is there to help you farm out the different interests of the students and match them to the preceptors who are available and have indicated availability. We also help to onboard the students in order for them to work within DPH. So we do medical clearance where needed. And then we also have the confidentiality training, as well as getting them a badge and a DPH email address. I take that back. We don't do the badge part. So that goes with another group at 101 Grove. And so there are certain things that we can do and help expedite because we're processing a lot of students at the same time. This year, for this semester, we had about 40 applicants and about 35 placements. So not everybody ends up working with us, but there's a lot of interest. And in general, I feel that Population Health Division, for instance, has a very good reputation with the schools that we work with, and they really enjoy their time working with us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla. Do you mind telling us if these are paid or non-paid positions for some of these placements within the Office of Student Placement?
Yeah, so I have been fortunate to have a few students who are paid. They applied separately and had separate hours. So over the summer, I had a group of 11 students, 9 of whom were doing their regular internship hours, and 2 who are population health scholars who were full-time, and they were also my middle managers. So they split the team into a sub-team for each of them and moved the work forward that way. So they were really helpful in getting the work done and moving us forward with public health accreditation.
Thank you so much. And Jonathan, I do see your hand.
Yeah, just Priscilla, thank you for just amazing work. And particularly this has been an unbelievably helpful way to link students into our COVID response and as well as MPOX response. I will say just as a policy standpoint, from a policy standpoint, DPH policies for individuals who are getting credit, we are not required to provide any type of stipend or funding for students, but that I think is a point to have hopefully a robust discussion about, particularly as we're trying to keep equity front and center and making sure that there are opportunities for students to be able to, to fulfill large number of hours and to be able to do that in a way that's sustainable. So more to come on that conversation, but just wanted to share that is the current policy around for folks who are getting course credit. And just to also share, Berkeley School of Public Health, I think we distributed this around to the division, currently are looking for placements. And so take a look at that email that I sent out to the division. And I know folks have already come to us saying that they're interested in creating a placement for Masters of Public Health students who need to fulfill their 400-hour requirements over the summer. But there are similar requirements for San Francisco State and San Jose State as well. So take a look out for those announcements.
Great, thank you so much. Next, we have Matt Wolf. Thank you so much, Priscilla. We have Matt Wolf from the Center for Data Science. Matt Wolf is the Climate and Health Program Manager, and we worked very closely with the program for the PhD scholars. And I know Seth Pardo was also part of the PhD scholars and just unfortunately couldn't be here, but thank you so much, Matt, for joining us. And please feel free to tell us a little bit about your experience.
Sure. Thank you for having me. And I'm not going to be able to have all the details. Like once again, Seth Pardo did most of the actual management. I was more the day-to-day programmatic lead for the PhD scholar. We put out to interview, I think we interviewed 7 or 8 MPH students at Berkeley looking to finish their hours, internship hours. For the climate and health program, we identified a project, and we ended up with one PhD scholar that started June of last year, early June, and then finished in early September. So she was with us for about 3 months, and there was a lot of real successes there. I thought, first of all, it was really exciting to see how much energy there was in my little world of climate change from current MPH students, and really taking this interdisciplinary approach to public health, which I thought was exciting. The particular PhD scholar was really bright, learned really quickly, very excited to apply a lot of the knowledge from her classes to like real world assignments. Was able to take on a fair amount of work and do it relatively quickly. And we co-developed kind of key metrics for their internship and key points that they wanted and key goals that they would hit for their scholars program. And we did that together. And the final result was a series of key informant interviews that was just terrific for having someone to support a lot of the work we do on developing these interview guides and being in on all of the interviews with us, and then developing like a PowerPoint slide presentation and demonstrating the results. And then this particular scholar was interested in continuing it to be her practicum. So we were working with her to fill out an IRB so she could continue this work. So overall, a really positive experience. I think the one downside I would say is because the actual time they were with us was so short, a lot of the work is up to me and my colleagues to kind of move along. So I think if I was going to have to try to figure out an assignment going forward, it would be something that's a little bit more has a definitive end date as opposed to a planning project that then will take someone else to do, if that makes any sense. But that was my experience.
Thank you so much, Matt. Definitely really good information. I think through the experiences, we'll pinpoint some of these challenges that we've had, some strengths within the projects that we have as well, and opportunities. So thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us. Next, we do have Janine Young. She is the Senior Health Inspector for the Retail Tobacco and Smoking Program within the Environmental Health Branch. And Janine will be talking to us about, and my little animation there, let's see, opportunities for all. So Janine, please feel free to take it away.
Well, thank you. It's such an honor to be part of this call and sharing our experience. We wrote into our Department of Justice tobacco enforcement grant that we had a goal to reach out, hire community members from the community to help us to try to bridge and build trust with our retailers and the community to really have discussions around tobacco, our enforcement process. And we partner with Opportunities for All, which turned out to be really a great and continues to be a great partnership. So Opportunities for All has two groups of students. They have high school students, and then they also have college level students through their fellowship program. So we went to Opportunities for All. The first summer we hired, we had two of their high school students to come during their summer program. Opportunities for All paid for those interns, and there were two. And what we had was a project, a summer project, 8 weeks, and they helped us design the flyer, job flyer and job announcement for our interns. And so they accomplished that. And then we posted, like, improved the flyers, spoke to the Department of Human Resources, and then Opportunities for All created a website, and we had everything posted, and through Opportunities for All helped vet the applicants, and then provided us with about, I think it was about 25 applicants. We went through those applicants and actually ended up interviewing 10, and we hired 3. It has been a very interesting process, a lot of lessons learned. When we hired the 3, I think I had reached out to DPHHR just to say, how do we onboard? And there was this whole communication from HR, because DPHHR was actually building a Opportunities for All pipeline. So they were surprised that environmental health had actually hired interns from Opportunities for All. And so I was able to, through that connection, really kind of communicate directly with the OFA pipeline that the department is building, like what's working, what's not working, what's needed, and sharing that. And so that's pretty much, I think, is where I'll stop around Opportunities for All. So, I should say the work that our interns are doing right now. So our interns right now, they're working, they can work up to 40 hours. They are getting paid. And they're right now out in the field today. So they're actually doing independent work that will support our regulatory work in the long run. So thanks.
Amazing, Janine. I'm very excited to hear about Opportunities for All. Thank you so much for sharing and for willing to be here to tell us a lot more about how it has served your branch. And again, just the plethora of opportunities as we're listening to everyone tell us a little bit about their experiences. So thank you again. And next, I have the honor of presenting Jonathan Fuchs, the Director for Center for Learning and Innovation. And Jonathan will be talking to us about the Summer HIV/AIDS Research Program, also known as SHARP.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to talk a little bit about the program. And I was excited to share a little bit about it during the recent January town hall, but just to focus on what we were trying to accomplish with the Summer HIV/AIDS Research Program, which we affectionately call SHARP, is really to look at the diversity of the biomedical prevention workforce, specifically focusing in HIV prevention and the intersection with substance use. Over 10 years ago, we started this program that's funded by NIH. We basically bring on 6 undergraduates, mostly all of whom hail from underrepresented minority backgrounds or who are socioeconomically disadvantaged or have physical disabilities, to join us for an intensive mentored research experience over the summer, typically 10 to 12 weeks. These are paid scholarships. We also provide housing in our collaboration with UC Berkeley, and we have students who are mostly from the Bay Area, many from around the country, who join us. We've had 57 scholars who've participated with us over the course of 10 years. We had 100% retention. Everyone who's started the program has completed the program. 96% self-identify as URM. And of those who completed the program, 78% go on to graduate school or have graduated graduate school, and 1/3 have been employed here at San Francisco Department of Public Health in either as research assistants, doing community engagement, and as epidemiologists, a number of different positions. So we've been really pleased. It's been an important pathway into the workforce here within the division. So we're waiting to hear from NIH whether we'll be funded for another 5 years, keeping fingers crossed. But it's been a really exciting program, and really just happy to work with our colleagues at UCSF, and just to acknowledge Dr. John Ceseda, Dr. Berta Hernandez, Frida Rajab, who's our current coordinator for the program, and with a lot of support from a number of folks within CLI, including Adriana and Ira Villarreal, who's working with us right now as we're getting applications, and will be hopefully with funding coming in next year. Hopefully we'll be able to select a number of great scholars for the coming summer. Happy to answer any questions about it.
Thank you so much again for everyone who has shared. Just due to time, I'm going to go ahead and move us forward. But again, please continue the conversation. This is what we brought the topic to the table, is to really maintain these lines of communication and exit from these silos and start to get to know the amounts of different opportunities that are available. And with that said, I want to go ahead and just tell you all about the Population Health Division Scholars. We did have a total of 7 students last year. And as Matt was talking about his particular student, we had 7. And really this program aims and the goal is to increase the number of public health professionals from underrepresented communities, which include students with minority, racial, ethnic backgrounds, particularly Black, African American, Latinx, Native Americans, natives of Alaska, Hawaii, the US Pacific Islands, persons with disability, persons from disadvantaged backgrounds, and also persons from lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender communities. And through this program, it is a 10-week program. It ranged last year from anywhere between part-time to full-time, 20 to 40 hours, and they were paid $20 an hour per student. Last year, we did have some flexibility with undergraduate and graduate level students. And again, this is why we wanted to bring the conversation to the table with grappling around making sure that we're aligned as a division and providing an equity lens for all of these programs, which I know funding can be limited. And we're really looking at establishing particularly a policy throughout the division. And I actually just received an email from DPH HR as I was asking about some policies that are currently existing, so that all of this information and some of the shared recommendations that you all will give in this next mural board activity to help us to make sure that we have the opportunities, but also the opportunities that are specifically tailored to those from underrepresented communities and that need funding. So with that said, we do have a quick, we have about 12 minutes, but I definitely would like to invite you all to help us brainstorm on the mural board. So let me go ahead and put the link to the mural board, but if you have your phone, you can also, it's compatible with mobile. So if you just take a photo of the QR code, not if you take a photo, if you click on the camera and click on the QR code, it should pop up with the mural link. And I'm going to go ahead and just quickly stop sharing so I can provide you that link as well directly. But please take a look. We do have a question. It's at the top of the board, and we have different columns. And here you'll see that we have some questions in regards to moving forward with this conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat in case you don't have your mobile available or prefer to use your laptop or desktop for this activity. But the question is really looking, and the overall goal is to create a transparent model to align pathway programs across the division that is equitable to all community members, students, and staff. So on the left side, you'll see what are the strengths of current approaches to the process. So after hearing all of the potential opportunities, and again, some of the experiences that were shared, what are the challenges with some of the current approaches we have now? And then lastly, on the last column to the right, what are recommendations to improve processes to ensure that we're aligning across the division? If there's any strengths, challenges, or recommendations that are specific to your branch, please feel free to include the name of your branch on your sticky note. Additionally, what I would say is, I know there were a couple of additional programs that were mentioned, and I think if they are outside of our organization, recommendation would be a really nice column to place some of those opportunities so that we can further explore. And if you're willing, please put your name or your branch name or a point of contact so that we can have those conversations with you particularly. And this isn't the end of our conversation. I really think that a lot of our manager series has allowed us to continue the conversation and follow back up with you all with the recommendations that are provided and also additional information that's to come. So let me go ahead and take a look at what that activity looks like. If there's anything else that anyone would like to add, I just want to go ahead and give you all a couple minutes to play around with some sticky notes. And for those of you that have not used Mural, let me go ahead and share my screen as well, because I'd like to just do a mini tutorial on how to add sticky notes. All right, great. So I do see a few of you on here and just wanted to let you know it is anonymous. So again, if there's any particular information that you definitely want us to follow back up with you or include you in the conversation, do put your name or branch on the sticky note. But just quickly here looking at our mural board, if you have not yet used it, on the left side, there is this column where you can click on the text option and it gives you 3 types of sticky notes. Doesn't matter the color, feel free to choose. And if you click on the sticky note, it'll add and everyone, it serves as a whiteboard. So everyone can simultaneously add their comments. You can read others' comments and that can also stimulate some thoughts there. So if you would like to leave a comment on a sticky note that you see, you can just simply click on the sticky note and at the top right-hand side, there is a little bubble where it says comments. You can click that and leave a comment specifically to that sticky note. If you want to get creative, there is also on the left side icons that you can choose from. If you agree, sometimes, you know, we like to put a thumbs up for anything that we would like to agree with or any memes or just different. However you feel free to express yourselves here, but I'll go ahead and give us a couple minutes. And thank you so much for interacting with us. Also, if there are any empty sticky notes, please feel free to utilize those. I've added them just for easier access. So you can just click on a sticky note that's not yet used and just jot down some of your thoughts.
Adriana, one comment, I'm looking at this, it's amazing to look at the mural board and the recommendations. One of the recommendations came up about having a group that would talk about these pathway programs. And just to reinforce with the group, we are currently soliciting members for people development working group or academy across the division. So to have representatives from each branch that will help us around our workforce development plan, monitoring and giving us feedback about workshops and other needs. One of the core areas that we were hoping to include as part of that, one of the kind of main topic areas is pathway programs. So, and if you are interested in participating in that academy, please talk to your directors. And if you are a director, please, if you want to nominate somebody or have spoken with someone on your team that's really passionate about training and workforce development and pathway programs, please have them join us. And we'll be forming that committee this month and hopefully starting activities next month.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for that. Melvina, I do see your hand up.
Hi, everyone. This was actually I appreciate this. This is really amazing. So one thing I wanted to know, for some reason, it's saying that my browser doesn't support it, so I couldn't jump in and add anything. So is there a way to maybe email it to me, Jonathan? Okay, cool. And then the other thing I wanted to do was just take a moment to appreciate the FACES program, because my daughter actually was a student at John O'Connell and she attended it right before the pandemic hit, but it gave her a little bit of experience, which was a segue in for her to do the city EMT program. And she's now currently an EMT and doing the 9910 program and actually on her way to be a firefighter. So that FACES
That is
really opened her eyes to, kind of just because she was always curious about the work that I've been doing, because I've been working with the city since 2006, but it has her on really focused and really excited about, being a part of, helping her community. So hopefully at some point you guys can invite city EMT to share their information as well. And they give a $3,000 stipend to their students to participate.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I would love, maybe it'd be possible we can get a testimonial from your daughter about her experience, but I mean, thank you so much for sharing that story. And so congratulations to her. So,
Yeah, thank you. And thank you guys for having these programs. They mean so much to the community.
I'm going to go ahead and add that into our recommendations. And of course, after, both the recording and also the mural board slides will all be sent out. And this is an ongoing conversation. So if later on you revisit and have any additional thoughts, please feel free to jump back in. And then if anyone has any difficulty accessing it afterwards, please let me know and I'll send that directly to your email address. Thanks. Yeah, and if anyone has any additional thoughts that they'd like to add and possibly don't have an opportunity to add them to our mural board, I'd be happy to add those. So I do see here some additional comments. Pepper hosted some students that also went into the EMT program. Big fan of FACES. Great. That's awesome.
If possible, if you can just add to me for the ensuring we align across the division, maybe the opportunity for managers to attend, and I don't know if this is possible, but to attend at least maybe a monthly or maybe quarterly meeting with HR, because sometimes things change and we're not fully aware of it. And then, we're trying to make sure that we do our best to onboard our new employees. And, we want them to just have like a smoother transition, but I think it would be really helpful to allow hiring managers to participate in some of their meetings so that we kind of understand the flow of things and when changes happen.
Yes, I do believe we can make that happen. Don't want to
Cool,
promise anything,
thanks.
but I definitely will bring that up. Again, Viviana Pinzon from the Office of HR. We also had Richa from the same office who's spoken with us before, and they are actually currently working on a Q&A. So that was one of the asks that we had in our previous meeting, but this is a great idea, attending quarterly meetings with HR in participation from hiring managers.
I also wanted to ask preceptors or potential preceptors to start submitting their ideas for internships so that we can also advertise out these internships to the different schools that are close to us. So I put a link in the chat for that. So please let us know if you're able to be a preceptor. Anybody who thinks they're too busy to have an intern probably needs a few interns to help them. So it's well worth the time and the investment. So I really encourage you to sign up to get interns. Thank you for considering.
Thank you, Priscilla. Yes, so I know we are at time. And so again, thank you for all your participation. Please continue to drop your thoughts into the mural board, into the chat. The last ask I have today. And let me go ahead and pull up my screen. If you have your phone, again, I'm going to drop the link into the chat, but this is a short and brief, very short and brief survey for today's presentation. And we do value all of your input. Everything that we have been producing has been because of your recommendations. And we value all of you for all of your work, and value just the fact that you came on today to share about your opportunities. This really helps to stimulate the conversation. So we do have a short 2-minute survey. I will also include that into the follow-up email, but if you have a couple of minutes, just 2 minutes, I promise it only takes 2 minutes. I did it myself. So yes, please feel free to give us feedback, and we really look forward to seeing you next month. Again, we'll have Maricé Rodriguez from the Office of Operations, and we'll be discussing our onboarding process. And hopefully I'll see some of you also inviting your staff to our Microsoft series next week, and looking forward to continuing the conversation. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Adriana, thank you so much for facilitating a great session, and thank you everyone who participated. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all.